it's Rachel with Mary. Today she and I are going to work on Park It. Park It comes in really handy, especially since you have two bigger dogs. So say they're in the house and you're expecting people to come over, you're expecting the pizza delivery guy, anything like that, where you don't want Sam and Mary right up at the door, barking, jumping, anything like that. You just want them quiet and out of the way. You can use this Park It command. Now, it's really important that they're both introduced to it separately, and they need to get it down separately before you can really expect them to get it down together, because if one isn't listening, the other is going to follow suit. So, what Park It is you have a designated area. Here, I have these two mats that are nice and cushy. They look different than the floor. They'll be inviting for Mary to sit or lay on. And that's going to be where I want her to go. Now, at your house, if you have their bed or a blanket or a towel, something like that, nearby the front door or wherever you want it to be, that's where you're going to practice Park It with them. Now, it's really important with Park It that the bed or blanket is always in the same spot, because we want consistency. If you have people coming over, standing on your doorstep, it's going to be really hard for Sam and Mary to focus, walk away from that, and go to their designated area. Excuse me. But if they know exactly where to go, it's always in the same spot. They don't have to think about it. With enough practice, it can become kind of habitual. So, despite the distractions, they can take the guessing element out of it by always having them go to the same spot. Now, also what you can work on with them is if you do have people coming over, if they park it, they're sitting nicely or laying down nicely there, then you can invite your guests to come over and say hello to them and pet them. So it can help teach them that they only get attention when they behave and when they're doing what they're supposed to. So, we're going to start off with the Park It. I have her on the leash, and I'm going to be walking her through it. And I'm going to be using treats to bait her. So I keep a treat between my thumb and middle finger, and I use my forefinger to point. And so as I point, that's kind of our hands command for her, and it will also take the treat that way, which will hopefully bait her that direction. I'm also going to walk over there and guide her with the leash while telling her to park it. Now when she gets on the mat, I'm going to use the treat to bait her up into a sit, and then I'll reward her for a good Park It. I don't want to tell her sit, because here, sit is included in the Park It command. So, let's try it. Ready, Mary? Park it.
Good, Park It, easy, easy. Good, Park It, Mary, good girl. Good girl, good Park It. Good job.
All right, that was perfect. She did exactly what she was supposed to do. We're just starting out. So you can see I guided her and got her attention, and I baited her up into a sit by doing this. And she did it perfectly. Now eventually we do want to work on getting some more distance. So once I get her into a sit, I'll signal her to stay and set back. But for now, we're just going to get her going to those mats. So, Mary, please. Park it.
Good, Park It. Good girl. Good, Park It, Mary. Good girl.
All right, that was good too. The only thing is, I need to kind of tell her nicely when I'm giving her the treats, and she has that lab appetite, and so she kind of goes for the treats a bit harshly. All right, ready, Mary? Park it.
Good, Park It. Good girl, good Park It. Good girl.
So, as you can see with my hand, I'm holding my hand out like this. Then when she gets her feet where I want them to be, I bring the treat up like this. So, once she gets to here, I bring the treat to here to kind of get her to stop, so she stops going forward towards the treat, and then I lift my hand up in order to get her to sit.
Good girl.
That is really good to see. Okay. Mary, park it.
Good park it. Good park it, Mary. Good job. Good park it. Yeah.
She's got a hair in her eye, a big old white hair from one of her friends. Okay. And I'm going to try it from the other direction. Now with this kind of thing, I like to practice it from different directions. So say you're cooking in the kitchen, you can tell her to park it. She'll go over there. If people come to the door, you can tell her to park it. And so those might be coming from opposite sides of her bed or something like that. Dogs pick up on routine and repetition really well. And so I don't want to just go from here to here telling her to park it 100 times, because then, you know, if I switch it around, try it from back behind, from another side, anything like that, she might not get it. She might only get the pattern and not the actual command. So it's important that we mix things up. Ready? Now bring her back here so we have a little farther to go. Mary, park it. Nicely, nicely. Good, park it, good girl. Good girl, good park it. Good park it. Okay. That was good. She really looks for the treat. You got it all. Come on, sweetie, you got it all. Good girl. Okay. Mary, park it. Good, park it. Good girl. Good girl, park it, Mary. Good girl. Okay, she's doing really well. Now, what I'm going to try now is to stand a little bit farther back. So, when I've been babying her, my hand has been right over the middle of the mat. So, this is exactly where I want her to sit. I'm going to try to step back a little bit, and hopefully she will continue on, that she'll know that this is where she's supposed to be. All right, Mary, you ready? You ready? Mary, park it. Park it. Good girl, park it. Good girl, park it. Good girl. Okay, so she wasn't really going forward that much. And because this is still really early in the teaching process, I don't want to let her struggle for too long, because I want her to learn it the right way. And so I don't want to have her guessing, not sure what she's doing, me telling her no, and not being right. So I could see she wasn't really getting it, so I helped her out a bit. But there, I was stepped back a bit more, and so the treat wasn't right over her head. I was stepped back like this, and she was still doing it. So maybe that's the kind of distance we should start with at first. So Mary, come here. Park it. Okay, now she, park it. Mary, park it. Now as long as part of her is on the mat, I'm happy with it, because that's the area where she's supposed to be. That's the point of this. And she's doing a really good stay, so this is good. Now I don't reward her for a good stay when I go back. It's still a good park it. Good park it, Mary. Good girl. There you go. Good girl. Good park it. Good park it, Mary. Okay, so she's doing really well here. She's definitely getting it. What I would suggest you do at home is, if you have someone to help you, have 2 people. So what you can do is you can hook Sam and Mary's leash together, so it's twice this long. Say you're the handler, you're standing here with Mary. And then there's a second person who is back behind the mat holding the leashes over here. Now this person isn't going to be talking, not drawing a lot of attention to themselves. They're just kind of turned away like that. They'll be holding the leash, so when you, the handler, say park it, they can kind of pull on the leash. It's not a hard pop, it's just kind of a gentle pull, so that it will ease Mary into that direction. And hopefully with enough practice, she'll know to stop on the mat or on her bed. And this will work on getting her off leash, walking away from you, if she has that incentive of someone giving her a little pull from the other side. All right, this is Rachel and Mary. We were working on Park It.